The restaurant was quiet except for the soft hum of conversations and the faint clinking of silverware. Amelia stared at the empty cup in front of her, her fingers nervously tracing the rim. She had told herself she'd give it one more try, one more chance to believe that love could find her again after everything she'd been through. But as the man across from her remained silent, looking lost in his thoughts, she felt her heart sink a little deeper. Her blind date wasn't going well. Daniel looked like a kind man, but there was a heaviness in his eyes, a quiet sadness that seemed to shadow his smile. He was polite, attentive even, but there was something distant about him, like he was trying to be present while fighting a storm inside. Amelia sighed softly and reached for her purse. "It's okay," she said with a small, forced smile. "I understand. Maybe this was just bad timing." Daniel looked up, guilt flickering across his face. "No, please, it's not that. Before he could finish, a small voice interrupted them. "Daddy?" Amelia turned to see a little girl, no more than 5, standing beside their table, clutching a tiny stuffed bunny. Her eyes were wide, soft brown, and filled with innocent curiosity. "Sweetheart," Daniel said gently, his tone instantly changing. "I told you to wait at the table." The little girl's gaze shifted to Amelia. "Is she the one?" she asked quietly. Amelia froze. "The one?" Daniel sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "I'm sorry, Amelia. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. I didn't want to bring her tonight, but my babysitter canceled last minute." The girl stepped closer, ignoring her father's awkwardness. "Daddy told me he was going to meet someone special," she said, her little voice trembling with sincerity. "Are you special?" Amelia couldn't help but smile through her surprise. "I'm not sure," she said softly. "But I think you are." The little girl giggled, then climbed into her father's lap, still watching Amelia curiously. Daniel's shoulders relaxed for the first time that evening. As dinner went on, something unexpected happened. The silence that had hung heavy at the start melted away. The little girl, her name was Lily, kept asking Amelia questions about everything. About her hair, her earrings, her favorite color, and whether she liked pancakes. Each time Amelia answered, Daniel found himself smiling, genuinely smiling, at the sound of laughter returning to his daughter's voice. By the end of the meal, Amelia realized she hadn't just met a man that night. She'd met a little soul who somehow made her heart feel light again. But when the evening ended, and they stood in the parking lot under the streetlights, that familiar ache returned. "It was nice meeting you," Amelia said, her voice steady but soft. Daniel hesitated. "I'm sorry if I made this awkward. I haven't done this in a long time." Amelia smiled faintly. "Me neither." They shared a brief, lingering look. Then Amelia turned to leave, but before she could take another step, tiny arms wrapped around her legs. She looked down. Lily was hugging her tightly, her face pressed into Amelia's coat. "Please don't go, Mommy." The world stopped. Daniel froze, his eyes wide. But Lily shook her head, tears welling up. "You make Daddy smile." "He doesn't smile anymore." "Please don't go." Amelia's breath caught in her throat. The child's innocence broke something open inside her, a floodgate she had been keeping closed for years. She knelt down, tears in her own eyes, and hugged the little girl back. "Oh, sweetheart," she whispered. "I'm not your mommy, but thank you for making me feel like I could be." The days that followed replayed in Amelia's mind endlessly. That hug, those words, the look in Daniel's eyes, part shock, part heartbreak. She couldn't shake it. Daniel, on the other hand, sat at home staring at the same photo on the mantel, his late wife, Emma. She had passed away 3 years ago after a long illness. Since then, he had buried himself in work, trying to be both father and mother to Lily. But deep down, he knew he had built a wall around his heart so thick, even love couldn't find a way in. That night, when Lily called Amelia Mommy, something inside him cracked too. He realized his daughter was starving, not for food, not for toys, but for the warmth of a woman's love, for a family that felt whole again, and maybe, just maybe, he was too. Weeks passed before their paths crossed again. It happened by chance, or fate. Amelia was volunteering at a local community center, helping with a children's art event. When she walked into the hall, she saw a familiar little head of brown curls sitting by the paint table. "Lily?" The girl looked up, her eyes lighting up. "Amelia!" Daniel turned around, equally surprised. "Amelia, I didn't know you volunteered here." I do it on weekends, she said with a warm smile. Looks like you've got an artist in the family. From that moment, something changed. Daniel started bringing Lily more often. They'd talk, laugh, share stories. Slowly, naturally, without force. Their hearts began to heal together. Amelia learned that Daniel still visited his wife's grave every Sunday with Lily. She never tried to replace Emma. She simply listened, respected, and loved them both for who they were. Daniel learned that Amelia had her own scars, a broken engagement that had left her doubting love and her own worth. Together they became each other's quiet strength. But love, as always, is never without its challenges. When word spread among Daniel's family that he was seeing someone new, not everyone was happy. His late wife's mother, Mrs. Jenkins, felt betrayed. "You're moving on too soon," she said bitterly one afternoon when Amelia dropped by. Emma would be heartbroken. Amelia's heart ached, but she stayed calm. "I would never try to replace her," she said softly. "I just want Lily and Daniel to smile again." It took time, months of proving through patience, kindness, and understanding that she wasn't trying to fill a void. She was trying to help them live again. Eventually, even Mrs. Jenkins saw it. She saw the way Lily glowed with laughter again, the way Daniel finally smiled without guilt. One evening, as the sun set behind the trees, Daniel took Amelia and Lily to the park where he and Emma once used to sit. He turned to Amelia, his eyes full of emotion. "You brought life back into our home. You didn't just heal me, you healed us." Lily ran up, holding both their hands. "Can we stay like this forever?" she asked innocently. Daniel knelt down and smiled. "Yes, sweetheart. Forever." Amelia's eyes filled with tears as she looked at them both, the man who taught her to trust again, and the little girl who unknowingly became her heart. She whispered softly, "I'm not going anywhere." Message: sometimes, love doesn't enter your life with fireworks or grand gestures. Sometimes it walks in quietly, in the form of a child's hug, a shared smile, or a simple moment that changes everything. Love isn't about replacing what's lost. It's about finding hope where you thought it was gone. Call to action for your channel, Be Kind Always. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to leave a comment below. Tell us what part moved you the most. And don't forget to subscribe to Be Kind Always for more emotional, heartwarming stories that remind us all, kindness and love can heal anything. Like, share, and subscribe, and remember, be kind always.